Have you ever heard of a man who never died? A man who simply vanished from the earth because God took him away? This isn't a plot from a science fiction movie. It's one of the most mysterious and profound stories in the entire Bible. A man who walked so closely with God that his life became an eternal testament to faith. Today, we're going to journey back thousands of years to uncover the incredible life of this ancient prophet. What did he do that pleased God so much? And what does his story mean for us today? Stick around, because you're about to find out. To truly understand Enoch, we have to go back to the very beginning, to the dawn of human history. The world was young, but it was already growing dark. Adam and Eve had been cast out of Eden, and their son Cain had committed the first murder. A lineage of rebellion and godlessness was spreading across the earth. But amidst this growing shadow, a flicker of light remained. This was the line of Seth, Adam's other son, a lineage from which people began to call upon the name of the Lord. It was into this faithful line, 7 generations from Adam, that Enoch was born. His name, Enoch, means dedicated or initiated, and it was a name he would live up to in every sense. He was born into a world grappling with sin, a world where the memory of Eden was fading. Yet the hope of God's promise was kept alive by a faithful few. His father was Jared, his grandfather was Mahala, and his great-grandfather was Kenan. These weren't just names in a long list. They were links in a chain of faith, passing down the stories of creation, the fall, and the promise of a Redeemer. Enoch grew up hearing these accounts, not as ancient myths, but as recent family history. This foundation was crucial. It set the stage for the extraordinary relationship he would build with his Creator. Like the men of his time, Enoch reached maturity and started a family. The Bible tells us that at the age of 65, he had a son named Methuselah. The birth of Methuselah seems to be a pivotal moment in Enoch's life, a turning point that deepened his spiritual journey. It's just after this event that the scriptures make a remarkable statement. Enoch walked with God. Think about that phrase. It doesn't just say he believed in God or prayed to God. It says he walked with God. This implies a daily, continuous, and intimate companionship. It suggests a relationship so close it was like two friends strolling together, sharing their thoughts, their joys, and their burdens. For the next 300 years, this was Enoch's life. While others in his generation were pursuing their own ambitions and descending further into corruption, Enoch's focus was singular, his walk with the Almighty. He had other sons and daughters, he fulfilled his family responsibilities, but the core of his existence, the rhythm of his heart, was synchronized with God. This wasn't a part-time faith for special occasions. It was an all-encompassing 24/7 reality. This intimate walk shaped everything about him, his character, his words, and his perspective on the world. It was this unwavering devotion that made him stand out, not just in his time, but for all time. So, what did it actually mean to walk with God in a world that was walking away from him? The book of Hebrews gives us a powerful insight. It says, "By faith Enoch was taken away so that he did not see death." For before he was taken, he had this testimony that he pleased God, and then it adds this crucial key. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. Enoch's entire life was an exercise in faith. He believed in God's existence and that God is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. His faith wasn't a blind leap in the dark. It was a confident trust based on his personal, daily relationship with the Creator. He saw the world spiraling into wickedness, a world that the book of Genesis describes as having every intention of the thoughts of its heart as only evil continually. In the face of this, Enoch chose to believe God's promises over the world's temptations. He chose to align his life with God's will, even when it made him an outsider. This faith wasn't passive. It was an active, living trust that guided his every step. Pleasing God became his ultimate goal, more important than fitting in, more important than worldly success, and ultimately, more important than life itself. It was this profound faith that set the stage for God's extraordinary response. Enoch's walk with God wasn't a silent, private affair. The book of Jude, one of the shortest but most powerful books in the New Testament, reveals another dimension to Enoch's life. He was a prophet. He wasn't just a quiet, holy man. He was a bold messenger who spoke God's truth to a corrupt generation. Jude quotes a prophecy from Enoch that is found nowhere else in the Old Testament, a stunning declaration of divine judgment. Enoch proclaimed, "Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment on all, to convict all who are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have committed in an ungodly way, and of all the harsh things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him." Imagine the courage it took to deliver that message. He was warning his contemporaries, people who were violent, arrogant, and rebellious, that a day of reckoning was coming. He was a lone voice crying out in a wilderness of sin, speaking of God's ultimate justice and holiness. He bore witness to the truth that God sees all, and that no sin goes unnoticed. This prophetic ministry was a direct outflow of his walk with God, because he walked so closely with the righteous judge. He could not remain silent about the coming judgment. When you look at the genealogies in Genesis, you see men who lived incredibly long lives. Adam lived 930 years. Seth lived 912 years. Enoch's own son, Methuselah, lived to be 969 years old, the oldest age recorded in the Bible. In comparison, Enoch's life seems short. He lived for 365 years, but the Bible doesn't measure a life by its length, but by its depth and its devotion. Enoch's 365 years, 1 year for every day in a solar year, symbolize a life that was complete and perfectly aligned with God's created order. He didn't need 900 years to fulfill his purpose. In 365 years of walking with God, he achieved a spiritual maturity and a completeness that others didn't find in nearly a millennium. His life serves as a powerful reminder that what matters most is not how long we live, but how we live. Are we walking with God? Are we living by faith? Are we fulfilling the purpose for which we were created? Enoch's life was short by the standards of his day, but it was full, complete, and perfectly whole in the eyes of God. It was a finished masterpiece, ready to be taken home by the artist. And this brings us to the most astonishing part of his story. After 300 years of walking with God, after raising a family and prophesying to his generation, something incredible happened. The book of Genesis puts it in beautifully simple, yet mind-boggling terms. And Enoch walked with God. And he was not, for God took him. He didn't get sick. He didn't grow old and frail. He didn't suffer a tragic accident. One day he was simply gone. The writer of Hebrews clarifies, by faith Enoch was taken away so that he did not see death. He is one of only 2 individuals in the entire Bible, the other being the prophet Elijah, who bypassed the experience of physical death. God literally translated him from the earthly realm to the heavenly one. Can you imagine the scene? Perhaps they were on one of their daily walks and they just kept walking right into eternity. This act was a profound statement by God. In a world hurtling towards the judgment of the great flood, God provided a living, breathing picture of rescue and reward for the faithful. He showed that for those who walk with him, death is not the end, but merely a doorway to an even closer presence. Enoch's departure wasn't a tragedy. It was a triumph. It was the ultimate graduation, the final reward for a life well lived. Even though Enoch vanished from the earth thousands of years ago, his story has never stopped speaking. He remains an eternal testimony, a powerful example for every generation of believers. His life is recorded in the Hall of Faith in Hebrews chapter 11, held up as a model for all who desire to please God. He teaches us that a deep, personal, daily relationship with God is not only possible, but it's the very purpose of our existence. He shows us that faith is not just a mental belief, but a life of active trust and obedience. His story challenges us to examine our own walk. Are we just acquainted with God, or are we walking with Him? Is our faith a Sunday-only affair, or does it permeate every moment of our lives? Enoch's boldness as a prophet also reminds us that walking with God often means standing against the world, speaking truth even when it's unpopular. His life is a beacon of hope. It's a promise that a life of faith is noticed, valued, and ultimately rewarded by God in ways we can't even imagine. He is the man who walked with God and never died, a timeless reminder that the path of faith leads directly into the arms of the Father. The story of Enoch is more than just a fascinating historical account. It's an invitation to walk with God, an invitation to live a life of faith that pleases Him. If Enoch's story has inspired you or made you think, please hit that like button and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. And I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments below. What part of Enoch's story resonates with you the most? If you want to explore more incredible stories of faith from the Bible, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video.